A few days ago was the early access launch of the much anticipated game The Day Before, and it came with massive caveats. I streamed it and I titled my stream Real Game or Scam? Let's find out. Well, it turns out massive scam, because 4 days later, Fantastic have announced that they're shutting down and apparently taken all the money with them. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. You know me, I love me a good video game. My favorite video game of 2023, Starfield. Okay, let's carry on. But one of the games that I was looking forward to in as much as from a curious perspective was The Day Before. And the reason why is when I first saw the introduction to it a few years back, it seemed to be very interesting indeed. However, as time went on, things got a little bit dodgy. There are channels out there that really go into the minutiae of this game and its issues, so go source them out. The big TLDR on this is what we were initially being shown were vertical slices of what the game could potentially be, which was meant to be a survival MMO. Then, on the verge of it being released, it got delayed a year. The reasoning behind it was that they were shifting from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. Then we discovered they didn't actually have the trademark for The Day Before, which caused even further delays. We were then shown additional snippets which looked nothing like what we had originally been shown, which caused a lot of concern. And after missing release date after release date after release date, it finally settled on an early access launch of December the 7th. And the question was it actually going to happen or not? A lot of people thinking it wasn't, including myself. But here we go. On the 7th of December, the game actually does release into early access, and it's not a survival MMO at all. In actual fact, it is an extraction shooter, completely different from how it was advertised, and advertisements for that were quickly pulled from various sites and places. However, they couldn't escape community notes. On the 7th of December, the game says, after 5 years of blood, sweat and tears, we can finally say these words. The Day Before is out now, with a link to the game. But the community note stresses the game was falsely advertised for years as an MMO survival game and is an extraction shooter. The game's Steam page, as linked in the original post, clearly states this. Read reviews before purchasing this game. As somebody that does a lot of gaming streams, I'm fortunate enough to be able to play these things, allow you to see them, and then make your own determination. And so on the 7th of December, I did exactly that. Now, you can watch the full VOD of this stream on my gaming channel, which I've linked and pinned in the description box down below at HVB Gaming. That's where all my streams go after I've finished them over here. So click that link and go drop it a sub. I thank y'all. A couple of stream highlights though. First of all, me trying to connect to a goddamn server. It took me somewhere in the region of 25 to 30 odd minutes to do that just to be able to play the game. Then my personal favorite, which was getting stuck behind a dumpster for about 20 minutes or so. Been able to jump one way, but not been able to jump back the other way. I had to beg players in the game to come kill me so I would respawn back at the base. As mentioned, you can catch the whole VOD on the gaming channel linked in the pinned comment in the description box down below. After about a couple of hours or so, I had seen all that I needed to see and I was done with the game. Even though it was early access, the gameplay loop was uninspiring, the animations pretty appalling, the world itself was virtually empty with not many zombies around the place at all, and it was very difficult to see where the actual fun element in the game was ever going to come from. But when your game was touted as a survival MMO and it releases as an extraction shooter, I think that's all you need to know about where they were taking it. They had no idea. Channel viewers were already making memes of the mishaps that I had encountered during the game. I even tweeted out, the day before, I got a refund. More like, oh dear, oh dear. And that's where I personally left it. I didn't think that the game was going to see too much development, but what I didn't see coming was just 4 days later, Fantastic, the studio that created the game, announced that they were shutting down and probably taking the money and running with it. They released an official statement about a couple of hours ago before the recording of this video, and it says, today, we announce the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially. 4 days it's been out in early access, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners, which seems to stress that no refunds are going to come to people who have actually shelled out their cash. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. Some people might argue to the contrary here, as they did have a habit of releasing games and then no longer supporting them. With the money taken from that, one can only assume being pumped into the day before. At the moment, the future of the day before and prop night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. Yes, it is, but the signs were there clearly for years and years. Mismanagement was clearly there for years and years. This will likely come as no surprise to anybody that has been following what's been going on as regards to this game. Maybe the only shock is how quickly Fantastic are announcing their closure. We're grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years. Only time will tell if this game's going to get picked up by somebody else or Fantastic suddenly spring up as a completely new and different company and maybe repeating some of the same things that they did before. It is my humble opinion that they knew exactly what was going to happen here. When you tout a game as a survival MMO, then you release it as an extraction shooter, it looks like you're just trying to dump it onto the platform in an effort to get as much money generated as possible. Then a few days later, you shut down the game, say that the money's going to all the creditors who have funded the game, and sorry, there's no cash. That's what it feels like to me. And as of recording this video, their Steam page is still up and still shows that the game is able to be purchased, which, by the way, I don't recommend. Now, I'm not exactly sure how the Steam refund system works, whether or not they've already got the money from people who have been purchasing the game, or whether or not Steam are holding on to it and they themselves might be able to step in and distribute refunds to people. But I think they knew, and this is Fantastic and not Steam, exactly what was going to happen here. I think they knew that they didn't have a game to develop, and that's why they pumped it on there. I think they knew exactly what was going on all along. And that's why when I did do my stream, I titled it Real Game or Scam, because I always thought this was going to be a scam, and they didn't disappoint. I'll see you in the next video. You take care. Bye for now.